I mean, your
Yes.
views on the Price Control Act, was this a wise move on the part of the president and his team?
We are thinking that that move, although populist, is not the right move to make because we are thinking that the net effect of that law will be, in fact, the introduction of artificial shortages and therefore the increase of prices.
Now, the principle on the part of the government is that they have to protect the poor from these volatile price shifts caused, obviously, by a weaker shilling. I mean, do you buy that argument that you need to protect the poor in this kind of environment?
We do agree that the poor need to be protected, but it's our considered view that price controls is not the way to go. That, in fact, controlling prices will just make commodities unavailable and therefore more expensive on the black market.
Let's talk about that black market, because those who are not proponents of price controls tell you about market distortions. They tell you about the fact that a company has to import inputs, particularly in a country like Kenya, at a particular price. They've got to be able to pass on those prices to consumers. Once you introduce price controls, they can't do it, and ultimately there's distortions in the economy.
Yes, we do agree, because we're also saying that government cannot purport to control prices of commodities they do not produce. What we think government should do is that government should make doing business in Kenya more efficient and therefore less costly. In that way, you can pass some benefits in terms of reduction of prices to consumers.
Okay, the government, from the statement that's come out from them, have there been considerations of business, or is this a populist take ahead of elections next year?
What I want to believe is that this is purely a populist thing. Because, for one, government has even no mechanism of enforcing this new law. Because, for instance, if the industry were to ignore government, what would the government do?
Yeah. Okay, I can't answer that question as to what government does. Is this a permanent situation, or is this temporary, Edwin?
Well, if they're passing it as law, it means it becomes permanent. But we are thinking that that does not help, and that therefore it will not cause reduction of prices. In fact, if you look, the shilling is doing very badly. A lot of the commodities we get are imported, and therefore the price will increase. The government has actually increased the price of electricity, meaning that production costs are going to go high. The way we are seeing is that the cost of products will simply go higher.
You know, in countries like South Africa, for instance, and I'm not in any way holding up South Africa as a pinnacle and example to follow, but you have seen in a situation when the recession really took its grip, there was talk of removing VAT on what they call zero-rated goods. So in other words, those essentials like maize flour, those essentials like bread, remove VAT so that the poor don't incur the additional costs. That's seen as an interim measure to price controls. Has the government looked at some of these alternative policy options?
In fact, that was our suggestion, that what government could do then would be to zero-rate taxes on essential commodities. Maybe reduce taxes, let's say, on petroleum products, because eventually they cause the increase of prices. And we were hoping that government would take that road, but apparently they have not.
Now, obviously, compounding the issue, and you've referred to it, is a weakened shilling and a volatile shilling. And some people are saying by the end of the year, we could see 100 shillings to $1. Now, the cause of the depreciation has got a lot more to do than internal factors within Kenya. It's the international prices of food, of fuel, those kinds of issues. In the context of a weakened shilling, prices are going to rise irrespective of what the government does. What do you make of the measures being taken to stabilize the shilling, and what sort of conversation should Kenyan authorities be having about intervening in the currency?
In our thinking, we are saying that what we need are more long-term measures. I think these are knee-jerk decisions that government is taking are not helping matters much. For instance, in terms of our policy, the country is supposed to have reserves, food reserves, for at least 6 months, so that if there's an increase of prices, then they're able to cushion citizens. Unfortunately, that policy is not followed, and therefore you have got no reserves, and therefore farmers and consumers are now feeling the heat.